Oh, yeah.
It's sort of similar to overthinking, I'd say. Sometimes people just want things to be perfect.
Yeah.
And people put such expectations, but when they don't meet that expectation, they're confronted with disappointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So how does one overcome that sense of perfectionism? How does one manage their expectations?
They used to say disappointment is the gap between expectation and reality. When it comes to perfectionism, there is a degree of wanting to control everything. The fact of the matter is you can't control everything.
100%.
You might plan your trip from here to, I don't know, like your cousin's house. And you're like, oh, yeah, it's going to take me 20 minutes if I take this exact road. Suppose there is construction and all of a sudden it's going to take you 40 minutes. You can't control it. So to me, I've never been like a perfectionist to that like compulsive degree.
Yeah.
But I remember there were periods, especially when I was a PT and I was a dating coach, there were periods where I was like, it has to be perfect. Like my program has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like the night out in the city has to be perfect. It has to be a certain way. I remember coming to a realization that things are not always going to work out the way you want.
No.
Now, there is an acceptable sort of, what's the right word for it? There's an acceptable spectrum of what should be perfect. As in like your preparation.
Yeah.
Right? If you have to be a perfectionist, focus on the things that you can directly control.
Yeah.
That's right.
The things that are up to you.
Yeah.
Right? So for example, let's take it to PT. Like what's up to me? All right, cool. I got to calculate, all right, how much exercise this person need to lose this much weight over a period of 6 weeks, for example, and how much food should be, how many calories in, calories out, how intense is the session, what's the maximum heart rate that they're allowed to go up to, right? Which is normally like 80% of like their maximum highest heart rate. There's a formula used for it, but those are things that are within my control. So like as we're doing the training session, I'm watching the heart rate monitor. I'm like, all right, cool. They're reaching their peak. They get in there. Or on the treadmill, I'm like, all right, they're reaching their peak, and I can ease it off a little bit. So it's more so about what's within your control. And then allow those things to be the things that you are a perfectionist about. Everything outside your control, let those go. Now, I will say this. Some people are perfectionists because it's compulsive.
Yep.
And if it's actually causing you problems in your life, like go see a therapist, a doctor, a psychologist, whatever you need to do. There's no shame in therapy. Just do it.
Get help.
Get help.
Get help.
Right? Plenty of resources. And then other people are perfectionists because that's the standard they have for themselves. You know what's a standard you have for yourself. When you don't meet it, you assess why you didn't meet it and you try again.
Yeah.
You know it's a perfectionist sort of bondage / insecurity to deal with. When you don't meet the standard, you kick yourself and you stay down. That's when there's a problem. They're two different things.
Yeah.
If it's a standard, you don't meet it, like, I didn't meet it, this is how I meet it next time.
That's good.
If it's an actual life problem, psychological sort of challenge and a barrier, you don't meet the standard, you kick yourself for it, all of a sudden you're the worst person on the earth and you spiral downwards. Right? If you're that second one, just go get help, get through it. If you're the first one, I think that's acceptable levels of perfectionism because those are things that you can control because you can always assess what could have gone better, what couldn't have gone better. Like I talked about, obviously, still don't know his name. Anyway, the book called Embrace the Suck, where, they've got a group of a convoy of 4 Humvees. The last one crashes into the bridge. They didn't plan for that to crash into the bridge on their way to their target. But they're like, damn, well, we can't really control that. You crash into the bridge, right? Looking back on the mission, what could they have done better? Could they have taken another route? Could they have put that particular Humvee in the front? There are so many factors you can't control. You can only look back and be introspective and be like, okay, cool. This is what I could have done. That's what I'll do next time this shows up again. But it's like, oh no, it crashed. Wow, we're the worst team ever. Yada, yada, yada. The SAS doesn't know what they're doing. That's a bad way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because now you're kicking yourself without taking the lesson from it. So that's how I look at that perfectionism situation.